Benchmarking is a key strategic analysis tool which identifies areas for improvement through the identification of best practice. Benchmarking is used to understand and evaluate the current position of an organization in relation to best practice. There are three basic types of benchmarking: internal benchmarking, competitor benchmarking, and process or activity benchmarking. Internal benchmarking can be comparisons using historically internally generated information, comparing own's performance against previous performance. Competitor comparison can be by comparison of performance against industry rivals or similar industry products. This may be by comparing products with products produced by competitors, possibly by purchasing a competitor's products and using reverse engineering on it. And process or activity benchmarking. The advantages of benchmarking are: it identifies performance gaps. It shows how one organization or activity is doing in comparison to another. This encourages continuous improvement, preventing complacency. Learning from the success of others, it identifies best practice and is a method of learning and applying this best practice to other areas of the organization. The disadvantages of benchmarking are: other organizations may be unwilling to share data. Competitors are unlikely to volunteer information. Management and staff may not be committed to the benchmarking process or may pay too much attention to the performances being benchmarked to the detriment of other performances. Management may take actions to improve their measure scores without improving underlying performance. This is part of a general problem with the modern performance management, which is what gets measured gets done method. The identification of best practices may be difficult and costly in terms of time and money. Best practice could be continuously changing, or the differences between the organization or department being benchmarked may make the comparison meaningless. One factor that leads to greater levels of dysfunctional behavior is where stakeholders misinterpret the results. For example, they do not take into account different operating environments or different objectives of organizations and benchmarks. This leads to unrealistic pressure to close performance gaps. Misinterpretation is less common where the results are only made available to expert stakeholders. Benchmarking can also be used to defend rather than improve poor performance. In such cases, management focus on explaining why their organization performed poorly, citing factors that make their organization differ from its peers. In such cases, benchmarking leads to little or no improvements in performance. There are 7 steps to benchmarking. Step 1. Set objectives and decide areas to benchmark. Step 2. Identify key performance indicators. Step 3. Select organizations, divisions, or processes for the benchmarking comparison. Step 4. Measure performance of all organizations, divisions, or processes in the benchmarking exercise. Step 5. Compare performances. Step 6. Specify improvements. And Step 7. Implement and monitor improvements. Benchmarking can also be looked at from the perspective of strategy, function, and operation. Strategic benchmarking may be the likes of market share, return on assets, gross profit margin on sales, and so forth. Functional benchmarking compares internal functions with the same functions in other companies. These do not have to be in the same industry. These may be on the likes of percentage deliveries on time, order cost per order, turnaround time, average stock, and so forth. Operational benchmarking is the benchmarking of operational processes. Operational processes need to be fully understood in order to benchmark functions. Looking at benchmarking from the strategic planning process perspective. Strategic analysis is the comparison through benchmarking of an organization's mission statement against its achievement. Benchmarking can be used against each factor identified in the SWOT analysis. Strategic choice benchmarking can be used to assess strategic choice, for example through the comparison of cost against competitors. If an organization is unable to better or equal the competitor on cost, then the strategy of cost leadership would be inappropriate. An alternative strategy should be chosen, for example, differentiation. Strategy implementation benchmarks can be used to assess current processes, for example, benchmarking of budgeting targets to ensure they are challenging but attainable. League tables are commonly used in the public sector to present the results of benchmarking. League tables are charts or lists which rank one organisation, division or product against another in order of ability or achievement. Under league tables, the various metrics are summarised into a weighted average overall score. A league table is then prepared showing all organisations ranked according to their overall score. For example, UK schools are ranked by exam results. The benefits of league tables is that many different areas of performance are summarised into one final score, showing how well the organisation has performed overall. League tables are also designed to improve competition among the organisation, effectively benchmarking performance, which can have a positive effect on behaviour. It can give an incentive to the poorer performers to improve so that they move up the table. League tables can be used to develop best practice and to monitor and ensure accountability of managers and those responsible for performance. Common criticisms of league tables are that they only measure relative performance. By this I mean everyone in the league table may be performing badly. One way to overcome this may be to use a comparable body who is performing well, but getting the comparison data from this company may be difficult. They apply arbitrary weighting to the various factors that are used in the calculation of the final score. It is also argued that they do not take into account differences between the organisations being measured. To be effective, league tables should be linked to critical success factors rather than simply profit, which may lead to short-termism and dysfunctional behaviour. To be more effective, league tables should be linked to an organisation's bonus scheme. This provides extra motivation to staff.